You're watching the newsroom on CNN Philippines. Senator Antonio Trillianes insists the government's out to get him, but Malacanang says it's just paranoia. And Communications Assistant Secretary Uson faces yet another controversy. Details next. Be right back. You're back in the newsroom on CNN Philippines. Embattled Senator Antonio Trillianes may soon leave his perceived sanctuary at the Senate if absolutely necessary. But our CNN Arcangel tells us Trillianes believes the government is out to pin him down.
After spending 2 weeks in the Senate, Senator Antonio Trillianes says he's ready to fly to Davao City to submit his counter-affidavit. Trillianes is facing 2 libel cases filed by former Davao City Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte and his brother-in-law Manasseh Carpio. On September 10, the Office of the Davao City Prosecutor issued a subpoena directing Trillianes to submit his counter-affidavit within 10 days after receiving the document. The senator says he has no choice but to personally appear before the prosecutor's office to submit his counter-affidavit, though his lawyer is exploring other legal options.
Kung kailangan puntahan para maayos yan, pupuntahan ko. Wala tayong magagawa kasi ganun ang magiging sistema.
Trillianes believes the administration is exerting all efforts to get him, even if the Supreme Court ruled that he cannot be arrested unless there's a warrant from the lower courts. He shows videos of a vehicle entering the village where he lives last week as proof that surveillance operations are being conducted on him. The video showed a vehicle passing by Trillianes' house twice and leaving the village some 20 minutes later.
So 2 beses umikot yan. Nung sinata ng mga nagbabantay dun sa bahay namin, ay kumaripas ng takbo. Yung behavior niya talagang highly suspicious and may hallmarks of a surveillance activity.
But Malacanang says Trillianes is just being paranoid.
First it's drama, now it appears to be paranoia. I think it's very clear the President has left the matter to the RTC of Makati, and so has the Supreme Court.
Despite concerns for his family's safety, Trillianes says he doesn't plan to move them to another location for now.
We can't give them that, even that small victory na parang naharas ako, na-stress ako. Hindi. We need to be as normal as possible.
Trillianes says they already have information on the vehicle and person who entered his village, but will disclose it in due time. CNN Arcangel, CNN Philippines.
Presidential Communications Assistant Secretary Uson and blogger Andrew Olivat say sorry to the deaf community. That's after making fun of the sign language in a video posted last Friday. The video has since gone viral on social media, prompting reactions from the Philippine Federation of the Deaf, deaf advocates, and even Senator Nancy Binay.
Binababa ko po yung sarili ko, nagpapakumbaba, at alam ko mahirap, pero alam ko mali ako Alam ko mali ako. Hindi ako magre-reason out. I'm sorry po. Patawarin niyo po ako. Patawarin niyo po ako sa pagiging insensitive ko, sa pagiging childish ko.
Humingi na po ng paumanhin si Andrew Olivat sa kanyang pagsasign language na may pabiro. Gayunpaman, I take full responsibility sa ginawa ng aking radio show partner at kaibigan. Kaya po sa ating mga kapatid sa deaf community, naway tanggapin niyo po ang aking sorry. Please forgive me.
Filipinos may face a further rise in consumer prices this month as the country's major rice-producing areas were badly hit by Typhoon Ompong. Research firms, economists, and experts say agricultural damage could stoke inflation as high as 6.8%. But the government's economic managers are downplaying fears Ompong will lead prices to soar. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Deputy Governor Diwa Gunigundo says the impact of Ompong will not be felt by the entire country.
Based on the preliminary reports, the impact is basically isolated and confined to certain areas. So we don't see a generalized effects on the supply logistics or even in terms of production. Now, with respect to the rice industry, it is true that this is now the time for this is the lean season. Okay, that's and the harvest is about to take place. But it was also reported that in some areas they have started to harvest. So the impact on rice would be minimal with that in respect of that.
He also points out that the government is importing more rice in the coming months, boosting supply of the staple. For his part, Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Ernesto Perña maintains food supply remains manageable. The economic managers also expect President Duterte to soon sign an executive order providing measures to help curb rising prices. These include an increase in rice and sugar imports. The House of Representatives convening as the Committee of the Whole and taking over the task of the Appropriations Committee to ensure the passage of the 2019 national budget. This comes after a disagreement among House leaders over a questionable 52 billion peso fund in the budget that was allocated for some congressmen. Our Joyce Ilas has that story.
After a day and a half of delay, the House of Representatives resumed discussion on the 2019 General Appropriations Bill or the budget for next year. But instead of the plenary, a committee of the whole, a committee composed of all members of the House of Representatives, tackled the measure this afternoon. That means it's now the Committee of the Whole and no longer the Appropriations Committee that is in charge. And it's now House Majority Leader Nonoy Andaya, chairman of the Committee of the Whole, who will lead the passage of the controversial budget, not Davao City Representative Carlo Nograles. Andaya gave no explanation for the change, which is allowed under the House rules. The committee's first order of business is realigning the 52 billion pesos to different programs of the government.
Walang kaltas, walang bawas, kung titimbangin, walang kulang. Ang mangyayari pa ay papalakasin ang programa. And as I will explain later, there is an amount equivalent to less than 2% of the budget, a drop in the bucket which will be moved to other presidential programs.
Sources earlier said Andaya and Nograles got into a shouting match over the matter. Andaya noted questionable insertions in the budget worth around 50 billion pesos. The amount was supposed to be for the congressional districts of about 40 congressmen, favored by former House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez. Andaya reportedly asked Nograles to spread the funds equally to congressmen, but Nograles refused, saying Malacanang already approved the budget. This afternoon, Andaya prevailed and moved to realign the 52 billion pesos. As a result, 31 billion pesos will go to road projects under the DPWH, 5 billion pesos to farm-to-road markets under the DA, 5 billion pesos for the National Disaster Risk Reduction Fund, and 6 billion pesos to health facilities and human resources of the Department of Health.
I am concerned that at this point, no details are being provided as to the where and when, the what, the where, in other words, the details of the projects.
Once the Committee of the Whole approves the 2019 budget, the plenary is expected to start budget debates Wednesday morning, with Andaya now sponsoring the budget. Joyce Ilas, CNN Philippines.
More stories from the newsroom.